What's up, everybody?
What's going on?
Hey, hey, hey.
We're bringing it back.
Oh, man. Welcome back to the Tucker and the Beard podcast. We're happy that you're listening.
Be like the Tucker and the Beard experience.
That's right.
The ride.
Oh, okay. I thought you were referring to the Joe
Many
Rogan
things.
experience,
Not particularly.
which is another
But we can-
podcast that I'm a huge fan of. But
I know.
there's some news on that
There's
front,
some news.
actually.
I was like, you should. I don't know as much. I've seen some things. But I know that you were quite the fan, so I figured I would hear about it at some point.
$100 million. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was really surprised to hear the news come out that he had decided to,
Sell the show.
well, not necessarily sell his show, but sell licensing to his show. He's always been so outspoken about being very independent with his program
Right.
because, to him, or to quote him, he's like, because no one can tell me anything.
Right.
No one can fire me. No one can take any of this away.
You can just keep going.
I can just do whatever I want, So, and he claims that Spotify is not going to be having any creative input whatsoever. This was simply a licensing deal.
Okay.
He's had a very long, pretty well documented fight with the folks over at YouTube
Right.
over their censorship. And so I think starting in September, the entire catalog of the Joe Rogan Experience is going to be available on Spotify. So every back episode, we're talking like 1,500 episodes,
Right.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
And then he's also moving the video version of his podcast over to Spotify,
Oh, okay.
which was a thing that I didn't know Spotify did.
I didn't know that.
So I got to do some more digging on that. If maybe that's a feature that they're building in just for, as part
for
of
him.
this new partnership,
Right.
because it'll be very interesting to see how that affects the platform, because he's pulling his podcast from the Apple Podcast Store, from Google Play. He will be exclusively available on Spotify.
What?
And available regardless of whether you're a premium subscriber or not.
And it's one of those things. You're far. I am a fan, but you are, a far bigger fan. But it's like you can't really blame them if somebody's like, "Hey, here's the check."
And we're not gonna make you do anything extra. We're not gonna say a word
where do I
about
sign?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like.
But it'll be interesting for us to see. Okay, is that another avenue? Because our podcast has been available on Spotify since the beginning.
Right.
We launched it originally on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Right.
We've expanded since to include Stitcher and Google Play Audio as well. And then we have our video version, of course, on YouTube and on Facebook.
What's up?
But is that going to be another avenue that we'll be able to take advantage of? It's just
Right.
going to create some different opportunities to jump on board. I'm a fan of Joe Rogan because you can listen to one show and hear so many different topics.
Right.
I mean,
all over the board.
Yeah, from comedy to astrophysics.
Right.
And experts in the field, and really, just really amazing long form conversations that it just doesn't exist in any other form of media.
Right.
And so I think it's an interesting play. We'll see how. It's a bold move, Cotton.
It's a bold move.
See how it plays out for him.
Can't really be mad at it, but I don't know if you've seen it as much as I have, but Some Good News, John Krasinski's thing that he started during quarantine.
I haven't really.
Okay, so it's SGN. So he started Some Good News, and it's just promoting positivity and focusing.
That's pretty awesome.
And he's hosted it, and it's been really cool. I recommend kind of checking it out. But it was revealed over the last week that he sold it, and it's going to be on, I think, CBS. Don't know how much, it was undisclosed amount or whatever, but it wasn't originally designed to be that. He was just trying to spread some positivity and focus on the good things.
Well, and that's the typical life cycle of an idea in Hollywood land, though.
Right.
Somebody has an idea, they either they film a pilot,
Right.
or create some sort of concept, kind of similar to what like Will Ferrell did with Funny or Die.
Right.
And they launched that as a YouTube channel, and then hey, it gets enough attention, and now a big network wants to come in and inevitably ruin it.
Right. So
I hope I haven't checked out
yeah.
this thing, but I'm hoping that CBS doesn't just step in and screw it up like they do with so many things.
Well, but I kind of laughed because they did an interview and he goes, "Listen, that wasn't the overall goal. Like he wanted it to be free for everybody, a little news thing." And then he goes, "But at the end of the day, like money's money. Like, money's
like that's what he does for a living,
right? And he's not going to be hosting it, so he's just selling his.
It's just selling the concept.
Like
so he's the showrunner, essentially.
And it'll be CBS All Access that'll you have to subscribe to.
CBS All Access lost all of my interest when they didn't put their biggest show on
Big
the
Bang
platform.
Theory?
Yeah.
Okay.
When they reserved that one show to go on to HBO Next or whatever.
Right.
No, I didn't really mess with it, but once I learned that it didn't have that one show,
right,
it lost all of my interest because
that's true.
Now, so say you're a fan of CBS's programming in general, if you want all of it, now you have to pay almost $30 a month between the upcoming HBO Next or Plus or whatever they're calling their new streaming service beyond HBO Now or HBO Go if you're a subscriber.
There's so many.
Yeah. So if you wanted to watch Survivor, CSI, and The Big Bang Theory,
right,
that's going to run you $30 a month.
Yeah.
And it's getting a little out of control.
And I think that's going to be one thing that, and I'm proud of us because last week and then so far this week and so my little we haven't focused on Aunt Rona.
No,
but I think and why I bring it up, I think the outcome of this, there's going to be more streaming stuff for you at home.
Well, what you're going to start seeing soon, and again, just because this is the typical life cycle. Right. Now what you're going to start seeing is some of these big streaming services are going to partner together. Kind of what we started seeing with Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN.
Right.
Where for a single fee,
right,
now you have full access to all three platforms.
Yeah.
So we're going to start seeing, and it's going to be networks all over again.
Right.
And then it's going to be a different cable company. That's really what it's going to come down to.
Yeah.
Is your cable provider is now going to offer a streaming package.
Alternative. Right.
So instead of getting, local channels plus, 243 cable channels that you don't really care about.
Right.
You might get local stations and Netflix and this and this and this, and they're going to aggregate for you. And of course, because they're a business trying to make money, you're going to pay a little bit more.
Exactly.
Or maybe, so it's going to be, I worked in the phone business for a very long time.
Right.
And, it's going to be the Bell situation all over again.
Okay.
So Bell was this massive phone provider. The government stepped in and broke it up because it was creating a monopoly, or they felt it was creating a monopoly. So it broke it up into all these other companies. And then piece by piece, it all got put back together and is now AT&T.
Right.
So it's like, I think that's where we're just seeing that cycle repeat itself.
Oh, 100%. It'll be...
And it's still going to be not to the benefit of the consumer.
Right. It's going to be, hey, for $5 extra a month,
you
can have this.
I mean, listen, if I'm wrong,
month,
that's great. If it ends up being a net win for the consumer, if you're somebody who right now is paying $40, $50, $60 for 4 or 5 different streaming services.
Oh yeah.
And this cuts that down to, hey, for $30 you can get
all of these.
everything.
Right.
Cool.
Right.
But if not, it's just going to encourage more piracy.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a whole bunch. Well, it's like I'd be intrigued to look at the numbers of, because I mean we've done it pre-quarantine when the Disney Plus app launched, and we did our little thing showing that, and we're like, Netflix is now kind of in second or whatever. I want to see like their stats before, and then after, like during quarantine, because I'm sure streaming went up.
Oh, it had to have.
Insane.
It had to have. But my hopes is that through all this, that the quality of the content doesn't suffer.
Right.
Which,
exactly.
frankly, I'm not hopeful for. Again, talking about this, I think John Krasinski is a super cool guy. Loved him in The Office. His Jack Ryan on Amazon is
insane.
Like, I can't wait for the next season.
Right.
So I'm hoping that the networks don't step in and ruin the content.
Right. Because everything
and a
is
little
being
bit
streaming now.
Well, it's not just that.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite shows, I've mentioned it at length, is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Brooklyn Nine-Nine was originally optioned to NBC.
Right.
NBC passed on it, and Fox picked it up.
Right.
Ran on Fox for, I think, 4 seasons.
Yeah, I was going to say it ran for
4,
a while before it got
maybe 5.
canceled.
And then it was canceled by Fox and picked back up by NBC.
Right.
Here's what I've noticed as that transition has changed, or has occurred. A, the season got shorter.
Right.
We went to a half-season show. Bummer, but whatever.
Yeah.
But B, the show took on a lot of political stances.
Right.
It got a little preachy.
Right.
After it moved back to NBC.
I was going to say that's not, because I haven't stopped watching it. It's just
no, and I'm not likely to. Right. I like the show,
but I got less. Something happened somewhere where I'm just like, I'll catch up on it at some point. Kind of.
That's the weird thing. So if you're a typical TV watcher, right? You find a show or two, especially if you're watching it, as it's airing,
right?
You kind of, this is my show. This is what I watch on this night of the week.
Right. On Tuesday nights, this is what I watch. Yeah.
And you're not likely to give up a show. Say you watch something on Thursday at 8.
Right.
Well, that's also when Brooklyn Nine-Nine comes in, but it only comes in halfway through the season.
Right.
So you're going to end up streaming the half season one.
Right.
At some point. Whether you wait till the end of the season and you binge it, whatever the case happens to be, but it's going to lose out to shows that started the season in September like everybody else does.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's just the different kind of options there. Did we get lost?
Nope, we're good.
Oh, okay. I was like just making sure before I start talking about something. But did you hear about the new movie that's coming out?
No.
Yeah, because there
really aren't any.
I know. I was just like, little moment, because we were talking beforehand about, hey, you remember those days where we could be like, hey, this movie's coming out, this movie's coming out. Now it's just rumors. Or lots people trying to push.
And updated release dates. Right. It was funny, I think it was fortunate for us. When we started this show, we would go see a movie every week.
Yes.
And back in January of this year, we decided to change our format a little bit.
Right.
We're not part of the conspiracy.
No.
We didn't know that 2 months later,
right,
the movie theaters were getting shut
down because we would have been scrambling really quick.
Now what do we talk about?
Right.
So I think that's an interesting side effect too.
Yeah. Of just we had no way of knowing. We were just kind of going, okay, we're running out of movies.
Yeah.
And time. of going, hey, when are we going to go see that? That conversation happened all the time.
Yeah, it's like, oh, can we get to them?
Right.
Can we even get to a movie this week?
Right. Just be like, hey, all of a sudden I would blink and it was
Tuesday again.
Tuesday, and I was like, oh, I had zero time to go to the movie theater. So with all the streaming and everything like that, it's been good. But I'm kind of waiting for, I think the last kind of bigger one was like Extraction. When we did that, so I'm hoping.
And then Space Force comes out. Friday.
Space Force
Friday?
does come. I think so.
Is it Friday?
I'm not sure.
Could be a different day.
I'm super excited about that one. I know I saw some.
Friday.
I didn't read the whole article because I try and form my own opinion, but it was. But I'm guessing that they were trying to compare it to Michael Scott, The Office, and it's not. That.
Yeah.
As much as I wish that it was, they need to do like specials,
right?
Like
something,
just a yearly Christmas special.
What I refer to as speed watch, a show sometimes, to where what I mean by that is I'll just, if I'm like at home or in the office just doing computer work, where I'm not on the phone and stuff like that, I'll just let a show play, and I don't care if I miss
just
an episode, or like I'll turn it on before I go to bed, and like 5 episodes play before it asks me if I'm watching again, and then shuts off.
Right.
I don't go back and watch those 5 episodes.
Right.
And so I'm on like season 6, like the middle of season 6 of The Office.
Right, for the umpteenth time.
Yeah,
that was
so
kind of
good.
Yeah. I was watching it yesterday. I was doing the same exact thing, which is funny that you said that. I was, because I talked to you a couple times being like, hey, I'm at the dining room table office doing stuff, but it was just playing in the background.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, okay, cool. Because, it's nice to just have something that you don't have to fully pay attention to.
Yeah, first of all, I've seen every episode at least 2 or 3 times.
But tell me something. I've noticed something about that show, about The Office. There's always something new that I pick up. Like, I'm like,
little bits and pieces.
I was like, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
They said that before. Like, it's just like some little murmur or something, I'm
so
like, that made it funnier.
So for me, my takeaway, this trip through The Office has been...
Trip around Dunder Mifflin.
I gained a new appreciation for the humor that Stanley brings to the cast. Like, I've always thought, he's a great addition to the overall story.
Right.
But for some reason, this go through, Stanley has stood out to me more than Stanley and Meredith.
Yeah.
Like,
always
what they add,
somebody new.
What they add to the ensemble there is just
amazing.
I'm appreciating it more this go through.
Right. I think the last time, I did the same thing. I was like, I think this time it was like Phyllis or something. Like, I'm like, oh, that's like really funny. But last time it was like Creed. And I'm like, he just does like, just notice.
And what's great is it's basically just on screen punch up.
Right. That they're just making it up. Right.
And whatever, just the things that they add, though, they're just these little additions.
Right.
Because for the most part, I mean, other than, small little runs, none of them are ever your key characters are not them.
Right.
Your A list, is Jim, Pam, and Michael.
Right. And Dwight. Yeah.
And then you get your B list of like Angela and Andy and Ryan. So
it's
to
not
speak.
Andy's not on my B list, but yes,
no. I mean, as far as like just screen time,
yeah,
screen time and what the story is focusing on.
Yeah.
And then you've got just everybody else.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well, I was just sitting there thinking like, and there's different like story arcs that I was appreciating. The ones that I was watching yesterday, and I can't think of what season or anything it is, but it's like when Michael quits and starts the Michael Scott Paper Company.
Yeah.
Is one of the greatest.
Season 5.
Yeah. I almost said season 5, but
yeah.
I was like, listen, somebody's going to call me out and I'm going to be wrong.
Yeah.
So like, I was like 90% sure, and it was not enough to be like, well, it was in season,
Yeah, season 5, episode 14.
Right. I was like, someone somewhere is gonna call me out, and it's probably gonna be you. But it was such a cool story arc of just being like, hey, I'm gonna go start
My own thing.
Yeah, and then it's like about to bomb, and it's like, yeah, and it works out just beautifully. So, but also coming to Netflix, you had told me about yesterday.
So this is what I think everyone is going to be talking about. So this is, and not for the same reasons.
I was like,
be perfectly clear here.
You made a proclamation, and so that's what we were just talking about before.
Well, what I told you was this show is going to take the crown from the Tiger King.
Yeah, to dethrone the Tiger King.
And what I meant by that was this. I think that this show is going to monopolize conversations for weeks.
Right. In the same way that, and I will full-blown disclose that I never watched it, but it was like was it Making a Murderer? Making a Murderer?
Yeah.
The way that was talked about.
Yeah.
To the way that Tiger King was talked about.
And so this next show, and it comes out, well, if you're listening to this on the day that it comes out today.
Gotcha.
For you and me right now, recording this, it comes out tomorrow.
Gotcha.
But Jeffrey Epstein, Filthy Rich.
Yeah.
Drops tomorrow on Netflix, or today on Netflix again, depending on when you're listening to this. But drops on Wednesday, the 27th.
Yeah. I think it's going to be more like the Making a Murderer style, where it's very serious and it's going to talk about serious...
This is no laughing matter.
Right. Tiger King was just a what the... response.
Yeah.
It's a psychological study, was Tiger King.
Well, and you watch Tiger King because, for the same reason, everyone slows down for a car accident.
Yeah. You just want to see...
You can't not look at it.
I'm very excited for the Nicolas Cage Tiger King. Listen, you're going to watch it.
Of course I am.
Right.
Of course
so I'm just saying, like...
My concern is such an overblown word.
I was like, listen.
Because the amount of time that it enters my actual thought patterns is none. But unless we're talking about it.
Right. I was like, you need...
Is that it's going to be too far away.
Yeah. It's too far away from the...
Yeah. They needed to have had this almost ready.
Right.
Because right now, nobody's filming anything.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to... Listen, I'm intrigued by it because Nicolas Cage stars in some weird thing, and so I'm intrigued. But yes, I agree with you that by the time it's filmed, done, released, no one's going to care anymore.
No.
Season 2 of Tiger King is already going to come out, and it's just not going to be...
But even so, I think that even right now, if Tiger King Season 2 came out next week, there's no way it has the impact.
No.
This Tiger King film, they would have needed a crystal ball. Mm-hmm. And I mean, somebody had to have thought this thing is going to be huge.
Yeah.
And they should have quietly been filming the movie.
Right. But I will full-blown say, as intrigued as I am, it needs to be Netflix movie. It needs to be... And I just mean that in a way of movie theaters open back up. I'm not going to the movie theater to see the Nicolas Cage, Joe Exotic movie.
If it doesn't come out directly to Netflix, I will wait until it gets there.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I've been kind of segueing for half a second. Well, I'll do my other point first. Nicolas Cage also is rumored, and this excites me because I enjoy these movies, to do National Treasure 3.
I have heard that, yes.
So it's one of those rumors. But one of the other rumors... Okay, so the new Doctor Strange movie...
Yes.
...is being directed by Sam Raimi.
Yes.
It is rumored Tobey Maguire will be making a return as Spider-Man. I will lose my mind. Listen, it's all rumor fan speculation thing at that point. But because it's Doctor Strange and the multiverse, so he's traveling to different. So don't.
Yeah.
So like rein it back of just listen a little 2-minute thing of him showing up in a different dimension. Like that's how I would like to see it.
Kind of like when we saw Into the Multiverse.
The
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse, yeah.
Okay.
That's how I think that it's going to be like a little...
that. I can go there.
Like him just showing up in this thing and it's...
Because listen, I still regard...
Older Tobey Maguire.
Yeah. I still regard Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
In Spider-Man 1 and 2. As the best Spider-Man so far.
So you're saying that Spider-Man in Sam Raimi's
Spider-Man.
Tobey Maguire is your favorite?
Yes.
Okay. No, I'm not disagreeing.
Followed closely by Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Then Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3.
Okay.
And then those 2 abominations that Andrew Garfield made.
Yeah, we don't
talk about those.
We don't talk about those. I mean, they were okay. Listen, in the big scale of superhero movies, they don't fall at the bottom.
No, because like the Fantastic Four movies exist.
Right. Or, in your case,
Batman Forever.
Daredevil. Elektra.
Yeah.
There's a lot more that
are worse than that.
I haven't even watched the new Fantastic Four Abomination. Because that one, I'm not even going to...
Rise of the Silver Surfer? No, thanks.
No, the newest.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. I forgot that one existed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like...
The Incredible Hulk.
No. Well, I'd put Hulk. Eric Bana Hulk.
No. I'm talking about the 2 pre-MCU Incredible Hulk movies.
Gotcha. Yes.
I forget who played. I know Ed Norton, and who was the other one?
Eric Bana.
No.
Yes.
No,
I will go rounds with you right now.
No, okay. Regardless, I'm just saying that those were awful.
Yes. Really
so
really
much
bad.
So that I don't even regard them as
right. So I'm saying that they
comic book movies.
So as far as Spider-Man 3 is concerned, Spider-Man 3 did the same thing that Batman Forever, Batman and Robin did, which is that it's like, hey, we're gonna pick about 5 villains, like rogues gallery villains, and throw them in to the same movie, and let's just see what comes out, which is just a bad combination. Because Spider-Man 3 had Sandman, Venom. I almost said Rhino. That was the Andrew Garfield, but that they did the same thing in that one. You pick 3 bad guys. What was it? Batman Forever. Batman and Robin had Mr. Freeze,
Poison Ivy,
Bane.
Yeah. All of them.
Anyways,
put together.
If you're listening to me, cinematic. Oh, well, speaking of DC and Batman real quick. I don't have any huge feelings one way or the other about this, but the Zack Snyder Justice League cut is going to be released.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of... Everybody's like freaking out about it. And listen, I saw Justice League. I wish that I hadn't. But listen, Aquaman was good. That was really, really good. Wonder Woman was good. But other than that, I'm just kind of
meh.
Yeah. And I
Shazam
don't even
was Shazam.
Yeah, I'm not even Ben Affleck hating on Batman. Like, I think it was the story. I think it was
just so hastily thrown together.
Yeah. It was a weird Guardians of the Galaxy Avengers version ripoff.
They're like, oh man, we got to do something.
With no lead up.
No.
The problem with the Marvel movies is from Iron Man 1.
It built upon it. And even to an extent, the Hulk with Ed Norton.
Oh, they did set it up. Yeah. It's part of the Marvel cinematic
It is technically
universe.
part of the MCU. It's just kind of the The cousin that nobody talks
It's
about.
the redheaded stepchild.
Yeah.
Because it's
the cousin with a drug problem who's done some jail time,
Yeah, because it's like, hey, it's all part of it.
But they still had to rework the entire Hulk character.
Yeah, it was...
When they added Ruffalo.
Right. Mark Ruffalo was that Hulk.
Yeah.
But it's just Ed Norton was too much of a problem child.
Yeah.
For them. Because I didn't mind that movie, like standalone, but it was, I don't know.
For me, I remember the first time I watched it, and it just didn't look good.
Oh, really?
And it pulled me out of the story. Like, it was one of the first, Blu-ray movies I had ever seen, and so I think it was the way that it was shot and then upscaled into.
Oh yeah.
And it just didn't look good. That took me out of it so much that I just lost interest, and then. I watched it a second time. I was like, yeah, it's also just not that good.
Right. Yeah. I mean, listen, out of the gambit, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not it's not at the top. But.
Speaking of characters I'd love to see fully explored.
Okay.
Gambit.
Yes. They talked about it for a while.
I know. I was looking forward to it. He was one of my favorite characters from the X-Men cartoons from the 90s. I always liked Gambit.
No, me too. Listen, I'm gonna get hit when I get home.
Okay.
Probably after my wife sees this.
All right.
Because when they were talking about it, it was Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
That was going.
And
to
I wasn't looking
Gambit.
forward to that.
Listen, as the abomination that Wolverine Origins was, they actually did an okay job.
Yeah.
With Gambit and bringing him in, and it was Taylor Kitsch, something like that. I pulled that out of my.
You did. You did a good job, kid.
He did okay with it. Like he was Remy LeBeau. Like
I saw another movie with him in it recently, and I'm trying to.
Said,
no, it wasn't a movie.
John Carter. I swear to God.
No, it was. He starred as David Koresh in a mini series that I recently watched about the whole Waco, Texas.
Oh yeah.
Disaster.
Wasn't it called Waco?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I have not seen that yet. As soon as you said that, because he was in
Friday Night Lights.
But what was it? 21 Bridges?
21 Bridges. Yeah.
21 Bridges. He was in that. But no, he is in a movie that my dad has been pushing me for a long time to watch, which has made me not want to watch it. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, which is John Carter. And
I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
I think it's one of those movies that's building cult following. Like, it didn't do great.
I heard so many bad things about it when it first came out that I was like, never mind.
I watched like 30 seconds of it, and it was like bad CGI, and it's like people flying around the screen like the Lost Boys are going to war. And I was just like, I can't.
Hard pass.
I can't do it. But yeah, my dad's been pushing me for a long time to. You need to watch that.
I watched a Kevin Smith movie this week that I had never seen before.
Okay, there's actually a couple that
guess which one?
There's actually a couple that I haven't seen.
Okay,
but it's just I can't. Even he jokes about them not doing well.
Okay,
I just can't play. Newer, older,
old-ish. I mean, it's like 10 years old.
Really?
Yeah. I was surprised that I hadn't
Jersey
seen
Girl?
it. No, I've seen that one.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's older than 10.
Cop Out.
Okay.
I had never seen it before. It was on Netflix, and I was like, I didn't put two and two together until the end.
It was his first branch out completely from the View Askew universe.
Yeah.
From his normal kind of thing, he wanted to do something different, and it's good.
It was funny.
Yeah, he's got some stories about Bruce Willis. It didn't go well.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
they say never meet your heroes.
It did not go well. So yeah, no, that's good. I have, I think, 3 Kevin Smith movies that I have not seen.
I'm guessing Yoga Hosers is one of them.
Yoga Hosers is one of them. Tusk.
I haven't seen Tusk either.
I just can't. That's a psychological, like, I haven't brought myself to be like, hey, I want to mess with my head for a while.
We should do it.
I just I will at some point, but it's listen. I brought myself to it, but this is somebody being tortured for like an hour, being turned into a walrus. So it's just yeah, you know what I mean? Like and Red State.
Yeah, I haven't seen. Those are three that I have not seen either.
So, and the reason I didn't do Yoga Hosers is because it's like a spinoff of Tusk.
Okay.
Like the characters, the two main characters, the girls were in Tusk, like a little passing.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, I have to see Tusk first before I watch Yoga Hosers.
Got it.
And yeah.
All right.
And Red State's just a weird, demented cult.
Oh, that's right.
Thriller movie.
Yeah.
So
kind of a.
It's a branch off of the normal comedic works.
For sure, but this one it was a fun watch. I didn't even put two and two together. It wasn't like, oh, I saw that pop up and I was like, oh, that's Kevin Smith. It was just looking for something that might be funny to watch.
Right.
You know, and it was Tracy Morgan pre-accident.
Right. Which he's back. Like he's kind of, still the thing, but he jokes around about. Listen, he got hit by a Walmart truck. He's doing all right.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great movie.
It was a nice. It was a good return to form on the buddy cop movie.
Yeah, and that's why he did it, because I think I saw an interview. He wanted to do it because his dad was a really big fan of like the '70s buddy cop. Movies, and it's kind of reminiscent of that New York kind of thing. So,
it was a fun watch, but that was and I have not seen the other three Kevin Smith movies that you referred to.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if that was me or you.
I don't know.
I'm breaking the wall right now.
No, it was just my email.
Cool.
My email making noise at me.
So another rumor that I saw is there's a petition going around for Star Wars, Solo 2.
I did see an article about that. Like, people are asking for that.
Yeah, there's a thing going around about that. But yeah, other than that, like, it's kind of weird entertainment news.
There's not much of it. Oh, here's an interesting article regarding what Keanu Reeves might look like as Wolverine.
I know no one's asking my casting things, but I think he's just it's funny enough. I think Keanu Reeves is just too old to start playing Wolverine.
No, actually, that was the same thought I was having too. It's like, okay, we look at Robert Downey Jr.
ageless,
as,
but not that ageless.
Well, we look at Robert Downey Jr. 2008,
right?
Iron Man,
right.
Roll that all the way forward to Endgame. And he aged 10 years.
Right.
And that was good.
Yeah.
Now, granted, Wolverine's not really supposed to age that much.
Right.
So where do you draw that line? Where do you bring someone in? At what life stage does the new Wolverine need to be at when we start seeing him? And then how long can we actually... Can they build a multi-film story arc around that?
Because you need to find somebody
while still being realistic about it.
Right.
You need somebody who's going to be able to stay relatively the same age looking, for
they
at least 10 years,
right? Because they can't be young looking.
No,
and
they already need to be fully grown,
right? Aged. Well, because for a while I saw some artist rendering of Taron Egerton from like Kingsman, and it looked good. Like I was like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, but the problem is he's not going to look babyface Taron Egerton
for very long,
right?
So it's like you can't put Tom Holland in as the Wolverine,
right?
Because he's not going to be 15 looking forever,
right? He's not going to look like the high schooler. You don't want a high schooler.
No.
But I saw some Tom Hardy, and I was like, "That's awesome." But again, you run into the same thing. Like, I don't know how much longer he would be able to be non-aging
Yeah.
Tom Hardy. Like, he's Bane.
You know, so you kind of need somebody like Keanu Reeves. And I'm not. Let me make a disclaimer
But
here.
20 years ago.
Let me make a disclaimer here. I am not advocating for this next person to play the role of Wolverine in any way, shape, fashion, or form.
Okay. I'm like, if you say the person that has been.
I don't even know. I don't.
Okay.
But in a similar fashion, seems to be relatively ageless, is Tom Cruise.
Oh, okay.
Who hasn't? He hasn't, appearance wise at least,
Right.
hasn't really aged over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So you need
start,
somebody, but how do
Yeah.
you know? Then the question is, well, how do you know?
Right.
How do you know when you start the project?
Right. That's what I said. If you would have done Keanu Reeves 20 years ago, and he'd been playing Wolverine, and he would still be looking the same. But it's
because
like,
I mean, we
if
know
you
this,
do-
how this life cycle works
Right.
now. We've seen the Infinity Saga
Right.
played out to its completion.
Right.
So you know that to do it that good, it takes 10 years
Yeah.
at least.
Right. So 10 years from now, Keanu.
You need to have somebody who you can either make look like they haven't really aged
Right.
for 10 years worth of movie making. You know, so that's, I think, the challenge
Right. You need
that they're going to face.
They need to bring Keanu Reeves into the MCU
100%. You know what he
But
would have
it's-
been better as?
on 3.
1, 2, 3.
Ghost Rider.
Oh, no.
Not Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider.
No. I mean, my, just gut reaction.
Or you say, is it already a character? Because he would have been a really good Doctor Strange.
Yeah, that's who I
Okay.
was thinking.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
he would have been I like Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, but also if I just think of where could we plug Keanu into the MCU, he would have been a great Doctor Strange.
Fantastic Doctor Strange.
So,
But because he's very sage-like, and I think he
Yeah.
could have brought. But if they were to bring in,
plus Doctor Strange throwing out a whoa,
but if they
would
were
have
to,
been great.
yeah, like I was sitting there going, you know what? They could bring in a non-Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider. And if it just, imagine Keanu Reeves coming in as this kind of side character that nobody, he can make it cool.
Okay,
But they've been
ride
talking
with me
about
here on the Ghost Rider thing for just a second. Let's go down this rabbit hole for a minute. And this is, again, kind of leaning on a brief conversation that we had prior to recording.
Okay.
You rewatched, for whatever reason.
Not the whole thing. Not the whole
You
thing.
rewatched Hobbs and Shaw.
Not the whole thing. But go ahead.
Idris Elba as the Ghost Rider.
I think he could pull it off.
I think he'd be a good one.
Yeah. Not Superman robot.
Yeah, not Super Robot Man.
As I was telling you,
Or what's the name of the guy?
I have to defend myself for a little bit because I didn't start Hobbs and Shaw at the very beginning. It was streaming, and I was like, I need something I'm gonna fall asleep to. I'm not gonna get too into it.
Yeah, or
it was that.
If he were a better actor overall, what's his name? Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy.
Okay.
I mean, he's already got that kind of biker
Yeah.
on-screen pedigree.
Yeah.
He's not my favorite actor, just from the
But I'm
quality of his performances.
Oh, 100%.
But-
I think he could.
But
and
he would
maybe
have
a
been
little hat tip to his.
to his
roots.
former, what made him famous. I think he could have made a great.
But that's
he
what
could
I'm
make a great Ghost Rider.
It's time to bring in some characters that don't get.
They're
not the top tier.
Yeah.
And make them cool. I just think that'd be really interesting because I'll full blown say where the MCU left off with Endgame. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of what they did with it. I'm a but that just means time frame, and it's 5 year. It's been 5 years, but not and it's just muddy, and so it needs to just
a series of weird Back to the Future moments.
Yeah, I don't like. Super big fan.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I'm not tearing the movie apart by any means. I'm a huge fan of it, but I'm like, okay. I'm just confused right now.
Sure.
I'm like, Homecoming did a good job.
Yeah.
I'm anxious to see the third one of those.
Someday.
I'm ready for them to where we left off. It's
yeah.
everybody
I'm
knowing
super
Peter
anxious
Parker
to see
is Spider-Man.
Yeah. How that next chapter plays out.
I think it would have been cool if they would have done a version of Spider-Verse for the third one.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been cool for him to get stuck into the multiverse and Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield showing up. Like,
sure.
It would have been... And have Nicolas Cage as that. I think that would have been hilarious.
And it's a good gag, but how do they make that into a movie that's not already the movie that was made?
Right. So that's why I'm like, listen, if it's a multiverse and Doctor Strange is just floating through and he shows up and he's like, oh, I'm back, and Spider-Man shows up, but it's Tobey Maguire, that would be a cool...
Little hat tip.
And just be like, okay.
Little hat tip.
Anyways.
All right.
I
think I'm out of things to talk about today.
I got the signal from you.
Yeah, I think that's going to do it for this week.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Well, we'll hopefully have some Space Force and some Epstein to talk about next week.
Next week's there'll be a big dichotomy in the tone of what we're talking about, because we'll have
up here or down here.
Do we start out with Epstein and finish
Spider-Man?
with Space Force
Or Spider-Man. I'm looking at pictures.
You got Spider-Man on the brain.
Spider-Man.
Or do we start it high and then get super serious about it? I don't know. Anyway, find out next week if you want to know.
Yeah,
you'll know.
But thanks for joining us.
We appreciate you. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, rate, review, all those things. We do appreciate it. It really helps us get the word out. And yeah, that's it. Till next week. He's Tucker.
He's Beard.
And we are out.